Hi luminaries, in this video we are going to be making the Orb Pom Pom. Orb Pom Pom are these dense round pom-poms. This video is an updated video from our original Orb Pom Pom video. So let's get started. What you need are your loom tool. This could be any loom tool, very sharp scissors, a pom-pom trim guide. If you don't have our pom-pom trim guide, you could cut yourself a piece of cardboard, round cardboard, measuring 1 3/4. Very strong, thin string. I like using embroidery floss. You could use pearlized cotton and crochet yarn as well. A yarn, of course. For this purpose, I'm going to use worsted weight 100% wool. In general, I like using worsted weight yarn. They tend to yield a more classic looking pom-pom, but you could also use something thinner and thicker as well. And some sort of basin or a bowl to catch all your trimming. Okay, so my trick for making a dense pom-pom is always rule number 1, a lot of yarn, enough yarn. So 2 things. 1, I like to double up the end of the yarn. So 1 from the outside and 1 from the inside. Just helps you wind everything faster. If you don't, you could just use 1 piece of yarn. That's fine. And then you want to make sure you wind enough yarn on. So as a rule of thumb, for an 1 to 1 1/4 pom-pom, I like to go 120 revolution with the single yarn. So of course that means with double like this, you go 60. And then the more yarn you put on, the bigger your pom-pom will be. And you might have to experiment a little bit depending on the yarn that you're using. Natural yarn tends to have more fiber, synthetic, less, different weights and stuff like that. But this is the formula for worsted weight yarn. And then I'll leave this in the comments as well as what I recommend. Okay, so you're just gonna wind, not too tight, not too loose. That is the key. If you wind it too tight, it's gonna be really hard for you to remove the yarn bundle off the tool. Okay, so let me wind. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. Okay, looks like I have enough yarn. I went a lot because I want actually a kind of this size, so a little bit bigger, closer to 2 inches. Once you're done, you're going to secure your yarn to any of the notches. It doesn't matter which one. Cut. You don't have to leave a long tail at all. 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch is fine. Set this aside. Let me clear my work area. And now you are going to tie your tight double knot. So your tight double knots are really key. This is the thing that keeps your pom-pom together. If it's loose, all your yarn will fall out once you start trimming it. All right, so what we're gonna do here is that I'm gonna go under the yarn bundle. Do not put the yarn in this hole. Put this here. So if you have wound too much yarn and there's a lot of yarn on your tool, you could always use a needle to thread this through. Okay, so we're going to tie this what I call the Paige Haynes way. So this is what it should look like. Make sure your ends are even. And then you're gonna do 1 single underhand like this. Pull, you're not gonna make a knot. And then you're going to take this end and take it back to the other side. We also have a video for this, so you could watch that video. It's called the tight knot for pom-poms. Okay, so now you will have this. Make sure this is in the center. Then you're going to do a surgeon's knot. A surgeon's knot is going this way and then going twice underneath and pulling. Okay, this creates a great tension and it closes out the knot, but it's not going to be super tight yet. You're going to have to make another knot. So once you have that, you're going to slide this off the tool, and then now you're going to have to tighten again. So you're going to pull, and then close. Okay, so usually what I like to do is I like to pinch down and it feels very compressed and very dense. That's good enough. If not, I will turn this over and make another knot just to help secure it. And then I like to finish with the third knot. Okay, so now you're going to cut this off. You don't have to leave a long tail. We also have a video on how to attach your pom-pom to another set of string. I like to cut this off because I actually, when you're trimming, I just think trimming is much more enjoyable without worrying that you're going to cut off these tails. Okay, so now you're going to cut all your loops. Here we go. Don't worry about getting all your loops. Try to get as many as possible, but as you trim it down, you're actually going to see your loops that you haven't cut. So don't worry about it, but it looks like I got pretty much all of it. Okay, so now you're going to take your pom-pom trim guy and you're going to hold it center to center like this. What I mean by center to center is just lay it in the middle. Make sure that that looks good, and then you're going to hold it like this. So if you're making a larger pom-pom, what you're going to do is you're going to trim it a little bit further away from the pom-pom trim guide. Do you see this line right here? But if you're going to make a smaller one, again, depending on how much yarn you have, you're going to be closer as well. And this, I'm going to admit, it comes a little bit from experience and trial and error. But either way, even if you're testing and trying with your pom-pom, it's going to be fun. Okay, so this is what your trim guide will look like once you have it trimmed. But because this is a three-dimensional shape, you're going to have to turn this over like this and then cut again. Okay, so the pom-pom trim guide is great at helping you get a starting point of a round pom-pom, but it's actually not going to get you this kind of tight look like this. So I'm going to show you another step. Okay, once you have that done, set this aside and then fluff up your pom-pom. Okay, so if you're working with kids or you want a looser pom-pom, this might be totally fine. But if you want to get to this, what I recommend to people is that you're going to take one patch, one area of your pom-pom, and you're going to trim it down. Just a tiny area, and you're going to get to the density that you like. So this is a density that I like right here. Fluff it up a little bit. Okay, and then you're going to work that density around the perimeter of your pom-pom. Do not move your pom-pom around. You're just going to go around the perimeter. So imagine like a belt almost that encircles your body. So you're just going to trim down. And here also I like to recommend to people, you might want to stand up and just look down. This really helps you maintain this kind of circular round shape. Okay, so see how I went around once and now I'm going around the second and third time just to trim off everything. Make sure that it's all neat, it's all one kind of congruent length. Okay, so now once you turn over your pom-pom, what you'll have is a very cleaned up area and then two kind of shaggy ends. You're going to take that same technique and trimming one end at a time. So you're going to curve this lightly. Again, not moving your pom-pom everywhere. You're just going to focus on one area, one perimeter. Once that's done, you're going to go on the other side like this. Okay. Okay. At this point, it's still not perfect, but I'm going to take the opportunity to fluff it up and get out all the kind of yarn underneath. And then I'm going to use, again, the same technique, going one perimeter at a time. It doesn't really matter at this point which perimeter or which side you start first. This part might take at least, I don't know, 3 to probably 7 minutes, depending on your yarn, depending on how perfect you want your orb. But I have to say, I feel like it's very relaxing to do this. I like to also fluff up gently, fluff up, because yarn and fibers are always hiding underneath. And if you want a smooth look, you kind of have to take all those yarn pieces and bring them out. Okay, I'm almost there. So our other videos include patterns for your pom-poms, different shapes, felting your pom-pom, let me see what else, attaching your pom-pom, making a pom-pom tass, I call it, which is attaching a tassel to your pom-pom. So we have a ton of videos, and make sure you watch those as well. Super fun. Oh, fruit pom-poms as well. Okay. See how as I'm trimming all around, but I'm always deliberate in terms of which side, which perimeter I'm working with, rather than moving it all around like this. Okay, this is very close to how I want it. Also, you know, some pom-poms, to keep it kind of in this perfect shape, sometimes you're going to have to trim it, and it's not a big deal. All you do is take your scissors and see how little I'm trimming off. Just it gives it a nice, neat finish, and sometimes you just have to maintain it. Okay, I see a little loop here, so I take my scissors, try to cut that. Okay. Here is my Orb Pom Pom. Enjoy.